Hi. We just woke up and came outside of the Ruina today.
And historic site.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
here we are.
So what are we talking about?
I'm gonna let you pull something out of me. Do you have a question? What is it? What's it? What is pressing on your mind?
Our nine-centered life.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's pressing on me.
Okay.
Not really pressing.
Yeah, right.
I'm enjoying it. I think one of the things I'm enjoying the most is your quad-right approach to life, which is, tell me, just like that.
Ask me a different way, or be a little more specific.
Oh, okay. Well, I notice as a projector that I'm absorbing all the time. And since I've been around you and we talk about rightness, right? Your quad right, and how you live in the moment, and are absorbing everything constantly. That I've noticed a real resonance there between my projector absorbing aura and the quad right experience, or what I understand it to be. So, do you have anything that comes up around that?
Well, I was just noticing because for a moment Jonah came in and flashed the screen, and you're literally just looking at me, yet I'm looking at, or I'm aware of everything.
Right.
So there's the projector and the quad right.
Yeah. So, well, and my dependent variables are left. So I have a left mind and a left motivation, which I focus a lot. I do that. I see patterns. Jonah was talking about that earlier, seeing patterns. Do you see patterns?
I think I do. I'm good at seeing patterns. I have whatever gate is the pattern I gate in the head. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
17.
Yeah, I have 17. So I do see patterns, but I don't necessarily make them mean anything, or I don't operate in patterns, I guess.
So you're seeing them but not responding to them. Is that kind of what you're saying? Or?
Maybe on a subconscious level that I'll respond to them without thinking about it. Like my body already knows the pattern, but I'm not thinking, oh, this is the pattern, this is how it's going to play out. You know, like I'll just be drawn towards what the outcome would be if I was pattern matching. You know, like I would just,
Really?
I would just move towards that way. Yeah. If I think about it.
Well, it seems like a very design-centered, body consciousness way to live in the world. Does it feel like that to you, that you're just centered in your design principle all the time?
How it feels is I'll have many options or choices of things to do or places to go, and then I kind of just sit back and watch what my body wants to do or is doing. Even like sometimes I'll think about how I'm going to do something, and then I might scratch that whole thing, but then I'll realize that my body is actually doing it the way I initially thought I was going to do it. Yeah. Or like there'll be some kind of hiccup in the procedure, and then it'll end up being like a way or another way that I was going to do it. Or, so I kind of like map it out in like Gate 41 fantasy type place. I have no idea how the mechanics particularly work,
Right.
but that's what I see myself doing. Oh, I'm interested in going here or there or doing these things, and then I kind of watch to see the the steps that show up to make those things happen
Hmm.
or not.
Yeah. So you talked about resistance
Mm-hmm.
in that process. Like you pay attention to that. The picture that came up in my mind was that it's almost like water moving down a stream. You know, the water's moving, and if you run into a rock, you just kind of
Go
slide
around
around
it.
it and go to the next place.
Mm-hmm.
Does it
Yeah,
feel
it's
like that? Working with resistance or noticing it?
yeah, or just completely like if something is resistant, like I practice with even small things, like going somewhere and it's not what I want. They are not giving me what I want, and that means that, oh yeah, I am not going to that place. Or like I remember going to a deli counter one morning, and like I wanted this one thing. Oh no, we're out of that. And then it was another thing. Oh no, we're out of that. And I'm just like, okay, fine. I am not gonna buy anything from you guys. I left the store and I went to someplace completely different.
Yeah,
And so I
yeah.
kind of go like practicing in small things to maybe, to bigger things. So then when I notice resistance in my life in bigger areas, I'm more maybe acutely aware of that. Maybe that's a pattern.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. There's a pattern.
Yep. Just like that. So what's been really instructive for me about all this is I have splenic authority, and I've been conditioned. Oh, just I'm so conditioned, and so part of my deconditioning is to become more familiar with my splenic authority, or how my body feels about something in the moment. And I really feel that from you. I feel that that's how you work in the world, how you live in the world. And so it's been because my variables on my independent variables are right, and I feel like I'm absorbing that from you, which has been a great teaching. I noticed that this real similarity between projectorness and rightness, this quad rightness, right? Where I'm absorbing everything around me and not necessarily seeing a pattern, but feeling a pattern. And I also avoid resistance, but I do it for a different reason. I don't, you're a manifesting generator. Being a projector, I don't have that motor. So I'm always watching my energy expenditure. So if I run into something, I'm not going to waste my precious energy on bumping into it. And I will go around or leave it. Now, I'm also 4/6, so I abdicate. So that may be part of it, right? But it's the same feeling for me. When I run into this resistance in life, in small things, like you said, that's the practice, the doing it with little stuff. I'm on my computer and I'm trying to get something done, and it just keeps being a mess. I just stop and walk away. I won't play with it anymore. And so, like you're indicating, when I get to a bigger decision point, I'm trying to listen to my splenic authority. I can feel that resistance more readily.
Yeah.
Yeah, my body's like, yeah, no, go that way, right?
So what you're saying about getting that awareness, your splenic awareness through my quad right, is that you're witnessing my ability to do something or not do something in the moment Is that what you're kind of saying? Because I'm emotional authority, so I am waiting till clarity. Just to clarify that.
Yeah, no, that's a good distinction. I I don't think it's about the bigger decisions that you need to wait for,
Okay.
but the day to day kinds of things, like going into the kitchen to make a meal and all of a sudden you don't have that ingredient or that ingredient and you go, oh, well, I'm scrapping that. I'm going over here. I'm making pancakes now and I thought I was making eggs and, you know,
Okay.
right? It's that.
Okay.
Does that make more?
Yeah.
Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I like what you do with your emotional authority. Um, I think the way I understood what you told me is that if you wait, you you can kind of feel a track or it's almost like you're just literally pulled to this thing, and that's your point of clarity in your way. Is that, did I, am I,
Well, it's kind of, I'll get the clarity and then I get on a track and then I have the energy to do like the thing without, if there's obstacles that come or whatever, it's not a problem, or I don't second guess if it's a clear thing. But then if there gets to be like a confusion with the, like if I'm with some other, dealing with another person and they kind of go, well, I don't know now, and they get their me off. And then it literally feels like I'm off the track and I may not, like if I was going to show up for them in a certain time, I won't be able to necessarily, because it is like, it like disrupts the energy of having the momentum to be able to follow through with it. It is like being like just pulled.
pulled? Yeah, literally,
Yeah.
like your body is being brought to something.
Yeah, and I know all the things, all the steps that I need to do in the order, and I'll have the energy for them. And then if I get pulled off, it's like it all kind of goes to crap.
you know, it kind of brings up this idea for me of passenger consciousness and watching the design, principle do its thing, right? Do you notice that? Do you
Well,
watch your body just do things?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, like I will, like I said earlier, is I'll map out a few things and then I'll just kind of see what my body starts doing.
Right.
Or can't think of an example off the top of my head, but yeah, it's just like, oh, I could be doing a multitude of things because I'm a manifesting generator. I have like many projects going simultaneously, and then so whatever kind of calls to me, or what, it's like, it's kind of like getting stoned and then seeing what you do, like honestly it feels a little bit like that, like you just kind of get stoned in your mind and then you can start doing something mindlessly.
I want to be quad right.
Well,
Well,
it's like also like you can't stop either. I kind of made the early on kind of understanding what quad rights were. I made this like similarity to this old story called the red ballet shoes, where
Yes.
she finds these beautiful red ballet slippers and they make her this incredible dancer, but the thing is she can't take them off and she can't stop dancing, so she just has to continue dancing, even when she's tired. So it's kind of like being in the flow state as a quad right is a little bit like that. Like once you start, you kind of let go of the structure and the the parameters that you might put in your life for security, and then you have to let go of all of that to just live this like flowy life, and then you can't go back.
so that brings up something that you said to me several times, and I think this is really important for people to understand about quad right. And I don't know if it's for all quad rights, but for you, when I focus you at a moment, at the wrong moment,
Any moment.
any moment, if I bring the focus too narrow, you say to me, "Oh wow, that hurts."
Yeah.
When you do that, it brings me out of one state and just I'm there. Can you talk about that a little bit? How that feels, how you get focused and then get back to where you are.
So it's usually already, I probably know what you're already pointing out. Like it's already in my awareness somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And then bringing that focus to me is like almost like, watch out, warning, pain. Like there's some kind of like, it's like a nervous system jolt. Like, oh, I got to pay attention to this because it's like danger or something. So that's where, and if it's not, then it's like, oh, it's just that. Yeah, I already knew that was there or whatever. So it's like that kind of.
So it's like a shock.
It's like a shock, yeah.
Wow.
And
really just jerks you into something.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something to be like, to me, to bring something to my focus, it means something's, like I need to be it's like life threatening. Like that's when I want that kind of focus brought to me, is if it's going to like be, bring life
there's
threatening.
A big ass pit there you're going to fall
well,
in, right?
I don't know. No, I think I already know that the pit's there. Not that kind of thing, but like, I don't even know. Maybe you don't even need to tell me about it when it's life threatening. Yeah.
Okay.
I spent some time with a projector friend, and she wanted to really know how we could work well together. And I said, broader strokes, just don't tell me the details, just give me the broad strokes. And then I went on a bike ride with her and her family, and it was the most difficult bike ride I've ever been on in my life, because they were all, I think, in this mindset of like watching, like making sure I was going to be okay and safe, and so everything was pointed out to me, and I literally just like sped up ahead of all of them so they couldn't tell me anything else, because I was like, at some point it was comical, like, because it was so much, like they just couldn't stop, and so I had to leave.
Away.
I had to get away.
You escaped?
I escaped. And she's still my friend, but I can't go on bike rides with her and her family.
Oh yeah. My God. Yeah, so I have a similar experience with my splenic authority, where common for me, I'll lie in bed in the morning, I'll wake up and lay there, and my mind's thinking all kinds of things. Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you didn't do this, and my list for the day, and my body's still laying there. It's not going anywhere. It's not moving toward any of that stuff. And all of a sudden, I find myself getting out of my bed. Am I going toward any of that? No. My body just goes where it does. And that's where I'm noticing the similarities in the right, in the splenic, the moment-to-moment awareness of the body actually taking an action or not, right? I've really become aware that if my mind keeps saying you should do this, you should call this person, you're behind, you do it, but I don't do it. And then later I find out, well, they were out of town, or
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, it really didn't matter.
Yeah.
And my body knew that.
Yeah.
But my mind had all these stories it was cooking up to get me to do things, right?
So I know how I kind of got to this place. Do you know how you kind of got to that ability to look at life like that?
To see that?
Yeah.
Wow, really good question. The biggest thing for me as a projector is I've been a fake manifesting generator my whole life. Okay, really disastrously. I came on to a life-threatening illness, and at that point, I just stopped dancing to the rhythm and tune of the world or anybody else. It was a priority. Either you change how you're living or you're going to die. I don't recommend this, by the way. I'm not suggesting people do this. But it's what happened to me. It's what I call a correct disease. So when I came on to that and I started deconditioning at a very deep level, my rhythm, my basic, how I moved through life, the speed that I moved through life, how much I did, and when I did it, I began to see more clearly. The analogy I use is for a projector to absorb and penetrate. You can't go 100 miles an hour. It has to be relatively slow to take in all of the complex details from the G center of another, and absorb all this from them to guide them. It can't be done at speed. It can't. And so that was the first big change in being able to move more into my ability for my passenger to watch.
Yeah.
And then the next layer of that began to evolve was witness consciousness, which was really directly related to death experiences, where I came to understand my eternal nature and how close that is to witness consciousness, a state of consciousness that I find myself observing both my passenger and my body at the same time. It's like a third place that's completely not attached at all. And so I now move back and forth between passenger, witness, shifting. And that's allowed me to be a lot more observant, right? Kind of a long answer.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So for me, I really sat with allowing myself to be slow down as much as my body, like, I guess, well, it was also helpful that the pandemic was happening, so there wasn't much going on in the world.
Right.
And I was in charge of renovating a house that I was living in, kind of at my own speed, at my own desire. And it was really this allowing of what did I really want to do? And it also was, how long do I want to sit on the couch and watch movies? Like really get into those depth places. Like, do I just want to, be gluttonous forever? Like these gluttonous places or whatever, like really teasing out those kind of edges of allowing whatever I felt like doing, kind of thing, and then no, I don't want to do that forever. I don't want to be lazy and sit around and do nothing, or all that kind of. And it was really this exercise in doing nothing and everything gets done. Really is what I found. After I kind of got off the couch and decided to play around and then really only do what I felt like doing, even if it meant I was stopping a project midway because of my back hurt or whatever. Even if I could finish it very quickly, I would just stop and then do something else, or not do anything, or just move on. So it was kind of that. I was fortunate. I feel like very fortunate to be allowed that luxury of really exploring those extremes or those places.
Yeah, I think what we're both pointing to is this choice. I mean, we're not supposed to have choice. Sorry, but we made a choice to slow down, and it shattered the mind's hold on this part of our lives. This, the mind dictating this, and it changed the rhythm. I have become really fascinated with waiting, and I'm teaching. I teach a class about waiting because it's such an essential part of every type strategy is to wait. Ra even said manifestors. I have to wait. So understanding what that is, and it's different for everybody. Every single design has a different way to approach this idea of shifting our relationship between our body and our mind and letting the body lead the life, right? So I think part for me also was a maturation in my, it's been a long time I've been in design. So I think it's true. It can't be done quickly. What do you think?
The deconditioning or the waiting part, like.
Well, the idea of shattering the mind's hold on the body.
Well, I can only speak from the way that I did it,
yeah, right.
So I think I was also very alone and by myself during that time, with not a lot of external influences or distractions, really, to pull me out of, what I really wanted to be doing, what my body really wanted to be doing. And so that another fortunate piece for me that the whole world was in lockdown when I was kind of going through this experience. But yeah, the and being fortunate to be alone, that's a big piece.
That's a huge piece.
Not having somebody else's needs
agenda.
Their needs that needs to happen, or that's just the space. My house could be in a complete chaos mess, and it just wasn't going to bother anyone. So those
I'm
are
so
all.
glad you.
Those are the only that's I think that was the only way I could have done that. Really,
Right.
A pandemic. No.
Well, I did the same thing you did from a different perspective. From the disease,
Yeah.
I actually couldn't do anything. I mean, I laid in my bed for 8 hours at a time. There wasn't any cleaning in the house or going to the grocery store. It was just a long time to work myself out of that. And so the commonality is the aloneness. And
the space.
And the not attending to anyone else's whatever, right? Not being responsible to that. I mean, and I think that's really important for people. This aloneness, probably the hardest thing to do for most folks is be on their own and be quiet with themselves. But honestly, I can't count the times that Ra has said, it's about loving yourself. And I think that part of the journey brought that forward to me so profoundly. I had to love myself or I was going to die, right? I was not going to have a life to live. And once I got to that point of being able to be alone and love myself, then I could have room in my life for I could know what love was, right?
Yeah.
I could understand that. I could
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
I could appreciate it. I could recognize it.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
whereas before, that self-love really hit hard and deep. I never would have been able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we got to our nine-centered life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
So
it.
thanks for hanging out with us in front of the Ruina.
Yeah.
And thank Jonah.
Thank you, Jonah. Yeah,
Thank you, Jonah,
for writing the Ruina for us
Right.
on demand.
On demand.
Let's see. I don't know what we'll do here. I don't know. That's it.
He'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. That was great. Woo!